At this point, I feel like I've been talking about updates every other video. However, I feel like this update in particular, or this type of update, doesn't get appreciated enough, and people don't see how important these updates are for the health of the game and even the future of this game. So let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on guys? My name's Chevalric, and today we're going to be talking about updates that don't get enough appreciation, but that I think are very, very important to the future of RuneScape, but also the current health of RuneScape, and are just not really looked at by the greater community and appreciated enough in my opinion. So making a video on it sounded like a good call, because I feel like we all make videos on the Elder God Wars update, or the controversial Wilderness update, or the MTX, or Yak Track, or blah blah blah, but I feel like there are not enough videos appreciating updates that might not change big things within a game, but in the long haul have an amazing and incredible effect on the future and the current health, as I said, of this game. So if you're going to enjoy this video, definitely go give it a like, subscribe if you're new, comment, join in the discussion down below, subscribe. Let's just get into this video. Okay, so why am I making this video now and why didn't I do it last week? So just a slight disclaimer, I was on holiday last week to the UK, so the last few videos you've been seeing have all been pre-recorded. It's also why there wasn't a video last Tuesday. I thought I'd just let you guys know, especially the people that watch my videos every single week and thought, hey, where has this been? Or some of these videos seem outdated, or the response on the comments weren't there. But that's just it. So that's why I'm making a video on it now. And I think even now I even got a better appreciation for it than I would have when I actually would have played it initially, because I sometimes feel like when you play a piece of content initially, you're kind of like either really hyped because it's a new piece of content, and then kind of when the hype dies down, you really see the content for what it is, or it works the other way around. It kind of needs some time to sit with you for you to fully appreciate it and see kind of how it fits into the game and why there's importance to it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, last week Jagex updated most of the graphics in the free-to-play areas. I will probably have some cinematics on screen. I will put some pictures on screen as well from like the befores and after. You can just see it whilst I'm talking, so you have a good idea of what I'm currently on about if you haven't played for a while, and especially the before and after pictures. I obviously don't have before cinematics of the areas that have been affected. I might have one. If I can find it, I will put it side by side, but if I don't, I'm really sorry, because obviously I didn't know that this was happening. If I knew, I would have probably made some cinematics to give you a better example in this video. But why am I talking about slight texture updates like grass being prettier, or stones, or the side of a river being a little bit more cobbled or rocked, or whatever you want to call it? Why is this important? Chev, you're just trying to make a video, get us to click on it, I'm leaving. But hold up, listen, hear me out, okay? So I think one of the concerns, at least one that I saw brought up by Mod Blickwitch, I don't know what the name is. Do you ever just see a name and you just don't read it properly, and you read it in your head but you actually don't know what the name is? I'll put it on screen, whatever their name is. I will find them. They are in the art team, and they are one of the two people working on this project, and they pretty much said that a lot of feedback they had when it came to the wilderness is that, especially if you came from the ditch into the wilderness, it just didn't really fit. Like, obviously the graphics in RuneScape are all over the place, as we know. If you look at Falador compared to Karamja, for example, in free-to-play, that is a huge contrast in graphics and how it looks, and even Falador and Varrock, for that matter, or Falador and, I don't know, Catherby. Catherby is one of the prettiest not Catherby, sorry. Port Rim is one of the prettiest places in maybe all of RuneScape, if I'm going to be honest, with all the ships, etc. And then you compare that to like Port Khazar, for example. It's very just irregular, and I mean, to me that's some of the charm of the game. But then again, especially in something like a free-to-play area, everything should look good, because that's something a lot of people will see for the first time, especially people who don't start as a member when they start playing this game. And it's very jarring when you go from a beautiful looking wilderness into Edgefield that looks really outdated and different textures. And as you can probably see on the cinematics that I showed you, it looks better now. The transitions are better. It looks cleaner. It looks like it fits more into it, and that it's like one full game. And it wouldn't surprise me if they will go on and doing this to all areas, because these are small updates that don't take too much time. And what I mean by this is, to replace a texture, very bluntly put, obviously there's more to it than just how I'm going to be explaining this to you, but pretty much what it is, you take one texture out and you put another new texture into it. Obviously there's some development cost and time, etc. into it, but overall it is way more efficient to replace some tree textures, grass textures, rock textures, and all these things to make it look prettier without fully redesigning an area. Obviously a full redesign of an area also requires a lot more coding and a lot more development time, and we all know memes, Backtrack, memes, MTX, blah blah blah. Let's just not bring this up, but it is a part of it. Like, obviously it has an impact on it, and we all know that not all the money they make is going back into development time. I made videos on it in the past, so just go check those out if you're interested in it or you want to talk about it. But this way you can update the game and modernize the game by just replacing textures. And right now it are just lighting textures, different skyboxes, grass, rocks, whatever. But it makes the game look a lot prettier, at least in my opinion. When I teleported to Lumbridge, I kind of said, wow. I was like, wow, this really looks good. And it felt to me like they redesigned the entire area, where all they really did is replace the textures of the walls, the grass, and the rocks. As I said, very simple. And some of you might be listening to me and thinking, Chev, what are you on about, mate? Why are you still talking about textures? Why is it such a big deal? Like I said, the game looks a certain way, and that's what a lot of people look at. Look, for me, I don't care what this game looks like. I love RuneScape for the game it is, and I think there's a lot of charm, as I said, into some clunky cutscenes and clunky textures. But RuneScape wants to grow. RuneScape wants to expand and obviously make more money, because RuneScape at the end of the day is a business, and I think it's good when they update these things, and when they do these smaller updates like that can have a huge impact, but yet again are also very efficient for time. Look, we don't need a full redesign of Lumbridge or any other area that they updated, because the amount of time you actually interact with those areas is very small, because obviously something like Elder Godwars Dungeon is somewhere where you will probably spend a lot more time than you ever will than in Lumbridge. Obviously not counting the portables that are within Lumbridge usually, but besides that, you don't do much in Lumbridge as it is. So why would you redesign the entirety of Lumbridge that can take months upon months upon months of time, when you could just update some textures, make it look a little bit better, and then move on to other areas that might need it a little bit more. And I think that efficiency and into like updates of textures also kind of applies what they did with the divination rework, which obviously they could have done a whole mining and smithing rework with completely changing the way the actual skill works and how you interact with the skill and everything you get from the skill. But with the divination update from, I think it's a year or 2 years ago at this point, it pretty much shows, okay, look, we just need more energy, especially for Iron Man. I believe that for Iron Man, it kind of came down to, for every 3 hours of PVM, you had to do like 1 hour of divination. And right now, it's no way close to that anymore. And obviously they didn't change it just for Iron Man, but also the XP rates were very, very slow. It was never really worth doing actual divination compared to like caches or even Hall of Memories. But now with all the boost and with the Divine Conversion Relic, it is actually worth doing regular divination over other forms of divination, or it's at least equal. So that way, they just changed some numbers around and maybe added some new things in, like how, you know, there's more enriched memories and how you can empower the whole thingy and you get more power from it, or whatever it actually does. But those small little tweaks to a skill made it so much better. And I feel like they can do that to a lot more skills without fully reworking it. Look, for example, woodcutting, fletching, and fire making, you can't really rework that into something else. Sure, you can go the way with the nodes and how they work with trees, like how you did with mining, but then again, you can also just buff the XP rates of woodcutting a little bit, add in some new tree types, give those logs some more uses, like maybe some new bows or some new arrow types, or, you know, maybe you can only use palm tree shafts to make the new god arrows, like stuff like that. You can be very creative with it and like tweak some small things to make it a little bit more relevant and make it more, you know, fit in and make it less tedious to train. Because, for example, right now the best way to train woodcutting is acacia trees with a spell from a spell book called Crystallize, and that is the best way to train woodcutting, because otherwise you're looking at like, I think 110k experience or something at like the higher levels, which obviously sounds a lot to someone, you know, who maybe plays old school RuneScape, but in RuneScape 3 terms, it's not a lot. That's very little experience. Like, most skills are averaging around 300-400k experience, and RuneScape wants everyone to be at the end game, including Maxscape, as fast as they can, so they can really update these skills in those ways. And I think that is something we need to show more to Jags, that we really appreciate these small updates, and that we can actually really benefit from them, and that we enjoy them. Sure, you might not interact with that content every single day, but it does make the entire process a bit more smooth, and it kind of ties everything in just that little bit more. Like the graphics, making it look better, making it look more like a whole without fully reworking an area, just doing it in a very efficient way. And the same goes with skills that might be outdated, like a woodcutting, a fire making, a fletching. And with that, there are probably a lot more skills that are very, very outdated compared to some like mining and smithing or archaeology, or, I mean, combat skills. You can never get outdated, can you now? I mean, the tier system is a bit weird, but then again, do you want to, you know, up the level of combat skill? I don't know, that's a topic for a whole different video, but let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this. Look, I know this might sound rambly, but I'm genuinely really passionate about just small updates in RuneScape, and it goes with quality of life updates as well. And I'm going to be making a video on quality of life updates in general, some that I think that, you know, RuneScape needs. So if you have any suggestions and you got to this end to the video, give me them in the comment section down below, and I'll just write them down. If I think they're really good, I'll do some research onto them. I have a few written down already, so if that's something you're interested in, going to enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe, comment, and